Hey listeners, welcome to Revolving Time. Time is a fascinating and universal concept that affects every aspect of our life, from the way we measure our days to the way we experience the world around us. On this channel, we'll explore real stories, cheating stories, relationship advice, confessions, and more, covering everything from the latest research on time perception to the history of calendars and clocks. Join me as we delve into the mysteries of time and uncover the hidden secrets and surprising truths that lie behind this essential part of our existence. If you really enjoy our storytelling, feel free to subscribe and become part of the Revolving Time community. Okay, let's go on to story. I have been suspicions that my wife is cheating on me with my boss Jim. I know her family is helping her figure how to get rid of me. My name is Truck Smith. I'm 5'9". I am 46. I lived with my wife Sharon for 12 years in a small town in West Virginia. We rent a small 3-bedroom house, a 2-car garage. I am an engineer. My boss Jim tries to micromanage me. Even though he has no idea what I do, he always tries to tell me, and he keeps track of all my hours. He is the sales department manager. What a joke. I am salary. I design surgical kits for hospitals. Sharon works there also and is a production manager. She makes more than I do. I feel like they all take advantage of me. Don't give a shit about me or my feelings. I have been suspicions that my wife is cheating on me. We would have sex 3 or 4 times a week. Nothing fantastic. Sharon is pretty and does not like to do anything new. For a year now, she hasn't even given me a kiss. I know her family is helping her figure how to get rid of me. We do not have any kids, so it is just her and me. Her mother and sister come over all the time, or they go out to bars. When we got married, they said that I was most probably just after her money. I was asked to sign a prenuptial agreement, for which I did. The agreement said that if someone cheats, they leave with what they brought into the marriage. I have never even looked at another woman. I am to the point where I will have a patent on some specialized tools for surgery soon. It is worth millions. When I first thought up the idea, the company I work for wanted nothing to do with it. They even sent me a memo saying that I cannot work on it during work hours, and that if I do, they will fire me. So, I would work on it from home in my cellar. About 2 months ago, I found video recording cameras in my work area. My wife is the only one that knew I was getting close. So, to make sure, I went and bought some cheap cameras of my own. I have video of her talking on the phone to my boss, Jim. I could not hear both sides of the conversation, but from her side, I figured out that her and Jim have been having an affair for over a year. They plan on stealing my ideas. I also have her talking to her mom, Jean, and her sister Joan. They put their conversations on speaker. I can hear the whole conversation. They talk about kicked me and stealing my money, or just really humiliating me. I had to go talk to an old army buddy of mine, Tom. We did nothing special when we were in the service. I was a heavy equipment operator, and he was a mechanic. I always do better when I talk things out with someone. I brought the recordings with me. He told me that I should bring my stuff to his garage, and that I should start designing worthless stuff for them. I moved my real designs to another computer and put crap in my old computer. I kept the file names so Jim wouldn't notice. I also bought some more sophisticated cameras and recorders so I can understand more of their plan. I put cameras in the bedrooms, the kitchen, and the living room. Update: Revolving Time, as we delve into the mysteries of time and uncover the hidden secrets and surprising truths that lie behind this essential part of our existence. The day after I put them in, I got video of Sharon and Jim F in my bed. Sharon would never think about sex with me, but on the video, she is doing with Jim, and she really likes it when he did it. They talk about me and how soon they will act when my ideas are ready to sell. I cannot think of what I could have done to make them hate me. Sharon talks about me as if I am just a dumb employee instead of a married couple. All I am good for is my ideas and doing the yard work. She has real contempt for me. I am done with my ideas, but want them to think that I won't be done until after I get back from my 2-week camping vacation. Jim tells the company owners that my ideas are worthless and cost the company money. This way the company cannot claim my work. Jim is going on a business trip. He plans on selling my ideas and make it look like I am worthless. Jim also F my sister-in-law Jean and mother-in-law Joan. Sharon even joins in. I see they are all bisexual. Love the taste of P2. If it wasn't for them hating me, I would love to join in. They are real B to me. I got so turned on watching them I had to jerk off. Joan always called me a sex pervert. I plan on sending videos of them to everyone in their church and family. Joan always said that I should go to church. I will see how often she goes when this is through. While Jim is away, Sharon decided she would let me F her. She was whore and I would do. I turned her down, saying I wasn't feeling good. She then tried to think of the last time we had sex. She couldn't. She brought that up. I told her that she is the one that didn't want it. I told her that I was going to sleep in the spare bedroom so I didn't get her sick. The company that I work for would back Jim over me, so quitting there wouldn't bother me. I cashed in my 401 Kelvin and started a new retirement account with a new firm. I put in for a month's vacation. Jim said my job might not be here when I return. I told him that I planned on going camping for a couple weeks, and that I had little business to take care of. I started moving my stuff out of the house, my tools, hunting and fishing equipment, camping gear. Sharon kind of noticed. She said it was about time that I clean up my shit. Sharon was never interested in going camping or anything I wanted to do. I wonder why she even married me. I found a small house the next town over to rent from month to month. I could work on my designs there. It has a 2-car garage, so even if they drive by, they won't know I live there. The personnel manager Cindy and Sharon do not get along, so them talking about my 401k is not a problem. Sharon and I have different checking and savings accounts. That is her idea. I have a 6-year-old 4x4 pickup. She has a brand new BMW. I have been paying all the house bills, phone, power, cable, and trash pickup. I've also been paying on a credit card bill. What she doesn't know is that I have transferred all the bills to her name. I stopped paying them last month. Tom had suggested that I make a list of what I had to do, check stuff off as they were taken care of. I had already emptied out my closet and a bureau that my clothes were in. Sharon had stopped long ago doing my laundry, and she would not even consider going in them. She was way better than me. I had told her that I was going camping, sat it for 2 weeks. She could care less. She told me that her mom, sister and her were going to a bar. When I got home, she was just leaving. She didn't even notice I didn't talk to her. I grabbed the rest of my stuff and went through the house that I had taken everything I wanted. I broke down the bed in the spare room. I took the bureau and any pictures I wanted, not much there. I locked the door, got in my truck and never looked back. I got my patents and sold them for $5 million the first week. On the first week, Jim called and told me I was fired and that he had warned me. He would have to explain why there were no new kits designed, why no one had called our customers for new orders, why the new kits they were expecting were not even designed. I had sent letters to our competitors telling them all this. I watched my phone for 3 weeks. She texted me asking when I would be home. I hadn't mowed the lawn and was shirking my responsibilities. I know she didn't really care. I had left the recordings I had made of her, Jim, her mom, and sister. I taped a piece of paper to them with her name on it. On the first recording, I left a message saying I knew of their plans for me and my money. I also said that copies of these were being sent out to her work, church, friends, and family. Then it happened. My phone blew up. She was calling me every 5 minutes. Jim was calling me, Jean and Joan also. She had found the recordings and now just noticed I had left 3 weeks ago. I then put copies of everything in the mail. For our work, our friends, the church, they all got copies. I had put a lot of it on different PN sites and gave everyone the site names. I smashed the phone and watched the fireworks. I also sent a recording of Jim firing me to the company so they would know who to give the credit to. Jim was fired. Sharon was fired. I bought part interest in one of our competitors. I knew the owner, Perry, and how he treated his employees. His company was more of a family business. I had been having private meetings with him. His company was not overly aggressive. I had told him that I didn't want the town to get hurt and that most of the people were great workers. He knew what I was planning and that he could buy all the equipment and factory cheap. I had found him a couple design engineers and trained them how to design kits that I knew the hospitals would want and like. I showed them how to treat the customers. About a week after the plant was running again, Jim shows up for a job interview. He tells Perry that he is the one that kept the old company running. He also puts in a good word for Sharon. I think Jim thought he and Sharon would just walk in and take over. Revenge time. We're living in a world where everyone is getting married and divorcing. But I don't know why people's cheating on their marriage life. Thanks for listening my story, and I hope you enjoy it. Advice and suggestions are very much welcome. Okay, let's go on to story. I had filed for divorce. When Sharon showed up, she thought she would be in the money soon with the new company. She was pissed with me passing all the house bills on to her. I did not go in the meeting. I watched from another room. Sid, my lawyer, was ready. The first thing he did was to put the prenup down and then he pressed play. It showed them all having sex, saying how they are going to take my money. Also, that they should humiliate me. All the time laughing at me. I had given my attorney written power of attorney to deal with my divorce. I told them that in 2 weeks I would check in with them, not letting them know where I was. On Monday morning, Sharon was served her adultery divorce papers. Sid told Sharon to just sign it or it will all go to the news and all the charges that can be brought up against her. She signed the divorce papers. When she signed it, she said pretty soon she will be making good money again. She told Sid to tell me that she was through with my sissy ass anyway. I wanted to sue Jim for alienation of affection, but Massachusetts does not allow that. I guess that too many state politicians were getting sued. But poor Jim and his cronies all lost their jobs per my agreement with the new company owners, with all his belongings gone. Sharon now owed more than she had in the bank. All the creditors were after her. Their cars were all repossessed. The power and water had been shut off. Property taxes were now due and both mortgages were past due. Since her parents' home had been totally trashed, her parents had to rent cars for all of them. I felt so bad just thinking of all their problems they were having. Jim had to move in with them also, since his property was trashed also. He had to beg her parents to rent him a car also. They had all gone with little box forts. Sharon and her family hired some private investigators to find me. Sharon's attorneys tried to stall the divorce. Bad move on their part. The case went very public with the DNA test, and videos of them having sex ended up on the internet. Audio of how long the affair had gone on. The fact that the whole family knew she was having an affair, and that they encouraged it. The whole family planning to ruin and humiliate me in public, take my money, and how they felt about the middle class. There is video and audio of her family paying off politicians, and how they paid off public officials, craped on those who were honest. I had it all put on as many websites that like to show that stuff. The divorce finally went through. The judge that was supposed to hear the case had to excuse himself because he was one of the paid-off public officials that was out. On the day that the divorce was final, the company had an employee appreciation day and a grand opening. Sharon, her sister, mother, and Jim were there thinking they would just walk in and take over. I had them sitting in the front table. Perry introduced me as the one that made this all happen. Sharon came running at me saying, "You son of a b, you sandbagged me." Everyone was listening. I told her that I did not have to be at the divorce. She was given a choice. I wanted everyone to know the truth. Some of the recordings were played on a big screen TV, body parts blurred, and part of the conversation was bleeped. Jim said he would get the old owners together to sue me, saying I had screwed the company over. A recording of Jim furring me was played with the date, and that I introduced the 2 new design engineers and asked them to say who designed the new kits they had said they did. I had already talked with the old owners and told them I would come back but with a raise. They refused, and I have it all on tape. I also have a signed memo from Jim saying that the special tools I had been working on were only mine and that I did not work on them at the company. It says right in the memo that if I even thought of working on them, I would be fired. They did not have a leg to stand on, and they knew it. They had backed Jim against me and lost. Everyone at the new company was given raises and a better benefits package. People that I knew that were hard workers and knew their jobs all got promotions. I pulled Cindy aside and told her to watch out for my ex. If she had any problem with them, to let me know. I told her anything. Please do not be afraid to tell me because I know how conniving they could be. Told her there is nothing that she could do to change my trust in her. Told her that she was now in charge of this division and that I knew she could handle it. Told her if she ever has a question not to be afraid to ask. I told her I would check in on her every once in a while. Final installment of the story. After a years, I don't know how they found me, but they did. My friends in town told me that someone was asking about me. I also knew from my wife's emails that they knew where I was. 2 guys flew onto a pond next to my land at night. I was ready for them. I had video surveillance set up. When they burst into my home, I shot them, just wounding them. They never saw it coming, but they were coming in my house to kick me. Someone asked about using rock salt in the shells instead of steel shot. That only works in the movies. I checked their plane and took what I wanted. I called the state police and told them that 2 guys had tried to kick me, but that I now had the guys locked up. The next morning, the state police flew in and arrested them, and the evidence saying what they were supposed to do. They told the police that they were just lost and were just going to ask for directions. The surveillance video showed different, and all the evidence in the plane too. They spent weeks in the hospital before going to jail. They ended up telling the police who they were working for and what they were hired to do. Before all this happened, I flew into Maryland to wrap up some old business. I went to a restaurant that I knew that her family frequented. They walked right past me and didn't recognize me. I now have long gray hair, a beard, and I am in better shape now. I asked waiter to send their table a bottle of champagne. The whole family looked 20 years older. They all looked at me, and then after a few minutes, Sharon yelled out, "Oh my God, you son of a b!" She had recognized me. She told them who I was. Sharon came running up yelling that I had ruined her family, calling me names. Suddenly, she's sister called the police. The police showed up and arrested me. I had the waiter call my lawyer for me since I didn't think the police would let me. They reviewed the surveillance tapes and released me. It showed me sending the champagne to them and me talking to them very calm. It showed that I just defended myself. If it wasn't for my lawyers planning ahead for what happened and making sure they had copies of the surveillance camera tapes, I do not think the police would have let me go. They were friends of my mother-in-law. Sharon called my hotel room and asked if we could talk. I met her in the hotel lobby, making sure we were being recorded. She asked me why I did that to her and her family. I just looked at her in astonishment. I calmly explained that I found out about their plan for me and got them before they got me. I told her that I had found out about her long ongoing affair with Jim. I then asked her why she married me if she hated me. I didn't tell her that I had the whole house wired or that I was spying on her. She had lost her job, house and cars. Jim lost his house and job also. They all had to go live with her parents. She just said it was nothing personal. She did it at first to get away from her family at first. Then she said it was fun making me do all those things for her, and that they got off on me getting sloppy seconds. I asked her why she didn't just divorce me when she met Jim. She said at the time it was fun, and this way she would get everything. I asked her how it was working out for her. I didn't say anything more. I just got up and went back to my room. The next day I left, to enjoy my life in peace, knowing how much I ruined their lives, their credit, their money, their pride, and of course ruining their name. Much better than K them. They will have to think of me all the time. End the story. Thank you for joining us on Revolving Time, where we bring you real-life stories that explore the complexities of the human experience. We hope that our stories have provided you with insights, inspiration, and a renewed appreciation for the power of human resilience. Our storytellers have shared their unique perspectives and experiences, shedding light on issues that are often overlooked or misunderstood. We are honored to have been able to amplify their voices and share their stories with you. We believe that storytelling has the power to create understanding and empathy, and we are committed to continuing to share stories that challenge and expand our understanding of the world. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel and stay connected with our community. By subscribing, you will be the first to know about new stories and events, and you'll have access to a library of inspiring content. Thank you for being a part of our journey, and we look forward to sharing more powerful stories with you in the future.